What's up, beautiful people? Well, long time no see.
Boy, it's been a long layoff, but
It's been 10 years. Cultivated Ignorance is finally back. It's me, Mike, your favorite host, of course. It's Will, that other guy. We got a very extra special guest tonight. Yeah, you better not do that Snapchat. We got an extra special guest tonight, KahnScience, the homie. We're gonna be talking about some good stuff. There's a reason we waited so long, y'all. I feel like we just didn't really have we feel like we didn't really have a lot of substance to talk about.
It's just like regular low-hanging fruit, just crap.
Regular shit. Republicans trying to turn back time, taking away, Roe versus Wade, all that shit, that bullshit. Some other internet drama. We just didn't really have anything productive to say about it. But tonight, man, I want to talk about relationship anarchy with the homie Kahn. I wanted to raise the question of why do we treat romantic relationships so differently at such a higher level than we do like our platonic friendships, when both not only like overlap in characteristics and aspects, but both are just as beneficial to our personal growth, in my opinion. And it's always been strange that we just all of a sudden just change rules just because we jump into a relationship, we just change the rules and everything. But we're gonna get into all that real quick. We're gonna shout out to Patreon. If Will wants to throw it on the page, as you can see, we were taking a hiatus. That means we ain't had no money coming in. Shout out to the patients. Say what?
None money.
We still broke. We still got 10 kids each, so we still got people to feed.
But if you want to support these kids, so we can bring food to not just our kid, but the other kids at the house as well. I don't know if anybody's seen that video going around where man got cussed out. Only bringing food for his one child, but we try not to be like that. We try to provide food for the fam.
All right.
Join our Patreon, patreon.com/cultivated ignorance. We got 3 different tiers, but all we ask for is the simple $5 tier.
Just $5.
Just $5.
Just $5.
Yeah, man, we got a lot of dope stuff on there for you guys. We did what was it, Barry? We did. What else we do, Mike? What was the one before?
Atlanta's the last 4 review. We got to go back and do the 4 review of Barry.
We got to do the 4 review of Barry.
Yeah.
Damn, they got my man. But anyways, yeah, man, it's just a lot of dope stuff on there. Extras, a couple extra interviews that you won't see anywhere else. So go check it out. www.patreon.com/cultivated ignorance. Took me a while to get that out.
I was gonna say you took the long route.
Shameful.
Took the long route. And real quick, I'm gonna shout out. We got to shout out the events going on. And if you're in Columbia and the surrounding areas, Friday, July. What's next Friday? Golly, I always lose track of what time we're doing the shows and what time they.
July 9th, is that right?
8th. July 8th is the Friday night vibe open mic at La Bamboo. I hope I'm saying it correct. Restaurant African, located at 10203 Two Knots Road here in Columbia, South Carolina. The good homie Bugsy Calhoun, along with wifey Winter Storm, have a very, very dope open mic show. It goes on I don't think it's every Friday. I think it's just that Friday in particular. Only $5 to get in the dough. I promise you're gonna have a good time. Bugsy is a beast. When the Storm is a beast. Kahn is a beast. I don't know if Kahn's performing lately. Kahn, you still performing or no?
The jury's still out on that.
Yeah, the hard head scratch just now.
Look, Maslow's hierarchy needs is whooping my ass right now. So.
Oh yeah, I feel you 1,000%. I feel you. But if you want to check out some good spoken word, again, that's Friday, July 8th, Friday night vibe open mic. Bugsy Calhoun, Winter Storm, located at Bambo Restaurant African at 10203 Two Knots Road. Only $5 to get in the dough. Show starts at 7 p.m. Be there or be a lame, whatever you want to do. It's fine. So yeah, man, I've been wanting to have a good relationship talk for a hot minute now, and I feel like Kahn, you're just a great candidate because you're the only relationship anarchist that I know. I don't know anybody else. Do you know anybody else?
I never even heard of relationship anarchy before.
This is why you're here. So if you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what relationship anarchy is, what are your love styles, all that good stuff.
All right, so yeah, my name is Khan. Short for KahnScience, that's my stage name. I am a spoken word artist out of Atlanta currently. I'm also a photographer. Have my own photography business, Iconic Photos. Let's see, I'm a vet. I am bi. I have been doing all of these things except for the last one for about the past 10 years. And I'm also recently a relationship anarchist. So a relationship anarchist is basically someone who doesn't follow the relationship escalator, which means you're kind of not going with the traditional talking, dating, and proposal, marriage. Like you might do any of these things out of order or not want to subscribe to any of these things. Also, things that go along with the relationship escalator is like commingling finances and future estate planning, things of that nature, right? So like with relationship anarchy, the best way I could describe it, because it is kind of convoluted if you look at if you look up on Google with the official technical terms and definitions. But I like to use an example. It's based off a chart I've seen. If you take all of the things that you need from each of your types of relationships, so like the things you need from a friendship, the things you need from a relationship, romantically, the things you need from your family, the things you need from co-workers. If you take all the individual items and put them into like a pile, people could come and pick and choose which things they can do best. So, for example, if I was staying with my best friend, me and my best friend might have a joint account to handle the financial needs of the place we're staying in, rather than me and the person I'm actually romantically talking to. Whereas in most places, people think that you're supposed to do all this stuff with your, romantic partner, and your friends are supposed to be just thrown to the wayside. One of the reasons why relationship anarchy was started was because folks didn't understand why, if me and you, Mike, was like friends for like 10 years, and then I meet a shorty, next thing you know, 2 years later we get married, and she's like, I don't like Mike, you gotta drop him, I gotta drop you. Like, where does that make sense at? You got more skin in the game. You've been in longer, you know what I mean? But people will literally do that for the quote unquote love of their life. To me, everybody's on the equal playing field. So you pick and choose what you can do. I provide what I can do, and we just move forward from there. And that can include almost anything. So the contention relationship tends to be non-monogamous because of that. So I might have somebody who I might go out on romantic dates with and be intimate with, but then I also might be intimate with my other friend type deal. Just because that maybe it started off as a thing that just happened and we just kept going. But since I don't have any exclusive ties to either one, there's no reason to stop either one, as long as everybody knows each other and we're all communicating. It's just basically kind of like, I don't want to say a new way of dating, but I think it's been resurfaced and repackaged as relationship anarchy. There's little rumors that the original person who said they invented it didn't invent it. It was the term was coined by a white woman, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
So like what I guess what about your journey got you to this point exactly?
Coming out as bi, actually. I am 36 years old. I came out as bi 2 years ago. So I was 34. And coming out that late compared to how most queer folks come out when they're like teens and stuff, it's kind of like a culture shock, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like going to another country and then you wake up and you're like, damn, I'm in another country. Like after 30 something years of just basically being like, I'm straight, I'm waking up like, oh no, I'm not straight. Like now I got more people that can dislike me. But one of the things about coming out queer is you start questioning everything, right? And for most people, for most of us, we still tend to stick with the things that we were raised to believe. But for some of us, the things we start to question, we start to reevaluate and be like, okay, is this really serving me? I noticed that in my analysis of my previous relationships, I was already low-key a relationship anarchist. I was just unethical about it. I remember back in college, I was dating beautiful girl, loved her to death. But at the same time, around like the first year of our relationship, I met somebody else and was talking to them, and we got just as deep within a couple months. But then me only knowing monogamy, me only knowing all the heteronormative ways, I didn't know how to navigate that. So I did what most A motherfuckers do, and I lied and cheated. And I was talking to both of them. But like, I was thinking in a, you know, I'm a little bit of a geek, so I think in like geek terms. I was thinking like in a different universe, I could have talked to them both openly. They could have been like, hey, look, I'm down with that. And we all could have been happy. You feel what I'm saying? So once I got to that point, I became non-monogamous. And I didn't really see a lot of us there. And so I thought I was like kind of like hesitant toward it, but then Clubhouse happened and the pandemic happened. So with that going on, everybody's on Clubhouse, the audio app, talking and having all these conversations. And I started meeting Black folk who are not only non-monogamous, but now they introduce all these new concepts to me. And I was in a room where this woman brought up Relationship Anarchy. And instead of me going toward the polyamory or polygyny side, I was like, oh no, that's me right there, because I felt like I was already living that. I just didn't know I was. So I started doing more research on it, and I didn't dive head first, but like as soon as I heard it, start calling myself that, because I like to see how things go. But I watched it for about a couple months, listened to the convos, joined a couple Facebook groups, things of that nature, and then maybe about like 4 or 5 months later, I was like, yeah, this is definitely the route that I want my future relationships to go. And so it was pretty much a wrap from there.
You said something very poignant about questioning everything. Once you just discovered within yourself that you were bi, how you started questioning everything. I think that is such a key that I feel like we all need to take on. And I feel like, honestly, from my personal experience, my queer friends have always been better at that than like my heterosexual friends, because I feel like most of us are like so stuck on trying to like fit ourselves in these tiny little boxes with all our might. And any venture outside that shit is like, oh shit, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. So with that being hopefully the goal, and it's more towards a question towards Will, because this kind of pertains to me and you. Can you think of any logical reason that we should put our romantic relationships at a higher priority than our intimate friendships when they're both just as beneficial?
Logical? Probably not.
Right?
but is like, I guess, falling in love with someone, logical? You know what I mean? Because at a certain point, like, you start doing some not so smart things for the person you love.
But is it because of that though?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't that because of that? Because you're so busy trying to put it at such a high pedestal? Isn't that where you start doing the dumb shit?
I don't know if one is I don't know if that's the result of it. I don't like. I feel like love is like a fall, right? Like you just keep going deep. It's not that you're pushing. You're just going. Like you just selling out for this person.
Oh God, I would hope not.
Not like selling your soul or nothing, but you kind of just letting your world and this person's world meld, more than you would with like your friends or whatever. I agree that both relationships can be just as beneficial. Mm-hmm. But I think there is something to say about like the depth you go with someone that you're supposed to be, that you've decided that you want to build a life with.
Yeah, but even that though, like we build lives with our close friendships too. Like so one thing I was thinking about was something so funny is, so you can have a friendship for like 20 something years. This is like your person, right? Like if you ever need something, you got them. And then you get into a new relationship and you sprung and shit, and you completely neglect that friend.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
You know what I'm saying? You neglect them entirely. And then when the shit falls apart, who the first nigga you run into?
Yeah, but like, I think the neglect is just based on like the infatuation. And I would say that would be something that would apply to myself. Or, if that was my situation, it would more so be infatuation with the person I'm dating. versus like putting this wall or this barrier up to, shield myself off from the friend in a manner of speaking. Like how men or women, they cut off their friends of the opposite sex for whatever stupid reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't truly get it, just to, I guess, make your partner comfortable.
Yeah, that's
like,
it. Yeah.
Insecurities,
Right.
which is the dumbest thing in the world to me, but whatever. I got friends.
To your point though, right? But to your point though, right? So when you are when you're in this building phase with the person that you met and you are falling, so to speak, what folks would say are these new ideals, this new, non-monogamy thing, this new quote unquote queer thing, even though all this stuff has been around for like centuries, only just in different forms. When it causes you to question everything, it's not just for folks who decide, oh, I got introduced to this concept, I like it, I'm gonna embrace it. It's also for folks who are like, let me find out what they're talking about. No, that ain't for me. But there are gems in there I can take from that. I've been in plenty of conversations with people that were raised, Southern Baptist, monogamous, all of the things. But from our conversations, they learned that there is flaws in their thinking as far as monogamy goes. So like the whole, you neglect your best friend for, this person you just met, that's a communication issue. All you gotta do is communicate with your friend. Hey, look, this relationship's new. I'm, you know how it is when that goes. Hey, can you just give me a minute for everything to settle down? We'll start linking back again.
Yeah.
I mean, in non-monogamy, we call that new relationship energy. You know what I'm saying? You tell your partner, hey, look, I'm sorry if you feel like I know, but we just met this person, or I just met this person. Let me get some stuff settled out, and we'll rock. And in other situations where the folks want you to drop the person of the other gender, that's insecurity. And I ain't gonna say all you gotta do, because insecurities can be very, very hard to break through. But one of the things you gotta do is just make your partner feel secure. Hey, look, I'm rocking with you. If this was the person for me, we would have been together because we've been friends for this long. Don't think that just because they have the same genitals as you, that I'm just gonna fall in love with them because I met you. Like, that doesn't make any sense. They were already here before you showed up, and we haven't done anything. So why? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you question everything, that's not, people have a tendency to think, oh, that means you want me to change my beliefs, my core values. No, it just means challenge your beliefs and core values. And when you come to the conclusion that you still want those, it makes them that much stronger. Because now when people question you about, well, why do you hold that belief? Why are you sticking with monogamy? Why are you sticking with religion? You can be like, well, this is because such and such and such and such.
You did the work.
I mean,
yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. But my question for you is, how successful have you been even introducing the idea, especially living in the South? Like living in South Carolina, I can say, I mean, it's we have a lot of progressive people in Columbia, but for the most part, the second you mention non-monogamy, motherfuckers lose their fucking mind. Like, they think cheating, they think, oh, you need to just be single. That's the shit I keep hearing. Oh, why don't you just be single if you're gonna be out in these streets? Just be single. Why are you wasting people's time? Like, what has been your success rate in introducing like relationship anarchy to new prospects?
I can't even cap. In person, real life, zero. Right? But that's what I love about this new technology age, this new internet age. If I would have learned about this stuff, let's say I was like, a little bit old and I learned about this stuff through an encyclopedia back in the 90s, I'd have been asked out. I'd have been like, okay, this all sounds good in theory, but this is not happening in real life. But in the internet age, me, unfortunately, they're like maybe states away. Maybe they're up the coast, maybe they're on the other coast, maybe they're, in the same city, but we just have these different, lives that we can't always, link up type of thing. If I was to actually be in a position to like really pursue what I wanted to pursue, relationship wise, I'd be good. I've already had people in my DM saying, hey, you cute, what's good? And we came from a we both came from like a non-monogamous group or room where we already chatted a bit. So I already know what type of time you want. I ain't got to introduce this concept to you. We just got to see if we're compatible. You know what I mean? Of course, there's an alarm. My bad if y'all can hear that.
Oh, good.
But yeah, it's the internet age has made it where, you know, while it may be more difficult to introduce new concepts into the area you're in or among the people you know, you can still find like-minded individuals and then meet them where they are if you can. So me, I'm single, no kids. I can go where the hell I want as soon as the state of Georgia lets me, and plan to do so as soon as that happens.
Yeah. No, I think that's beautiful, yo. I think that's beautiful. So one thing that this conversation brings up, and as well as another conversation that I'm hoping to have in another episode, I'm reading this book about asexuality by Angela Chen. It's called Ace, and she talks a lot about how because of the way things work in our society, like we've always put romantic partnership as a higher priority over friendships, intimate friendships, and how weird it is that someone can have like a thriving life full of beautiful friendships, be just fine, but like you find out they're single, you automatically assume that they're missing something in life, like they're lonely inside. You know, the whole Kevin Samuels rhetoric of you're gonna die alone and shit, you know what I mean? And she really questions why shouldn't we have a society where close friendships can reap the same benefits as marriages? So like she talks about like how it's not fair that you have to have someone has to be legally married to you in order to like share health benefits or like get bereavement time if something happens to them, or you know make medical decisions on their behalf. And you should be able to do that with like close friendships. Like we should be able to make it legally a thing for close friendships as well. Do y'all agree with that, or do y'all think that's like kind of diminishing the value of marriage, legal marriage?
Me personally, I'm down for the devaluation of marriage.
Why? Tell us more, William.
I just don't like all these benefits being had that the government has to take control of it. And to your question, like I think that the reason that these other types of relationships don't have them is just for control purposes by the government. You know what I mean? But the question I would really ask to the point she was trying to make was like, why aren't friendships and whatever these other relationships that we have just as valuable to us as a society? Like outside of like, why can't we view friendships just as important as marriages? Like somebody who has a close friend that's always there from da 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 da. Like why can't we view that as being just as rewarding as having a husband or a wife or, you know, a partner or whatever? You know what I mean? Why don't we view it as that? I think it's more of a societal issue than a legal issue.
Yeah. And I would love to hear Kahn's answer, because I think that's a valid question. I would say the first thing that comes to mind is, of course, like how, you know, patriarchy and capitalism work, which is, of course, men, you know, you got to get a spouse, you got to make kids, you got to continue your heir and all that stuff. Like that's the root of it for sure. And I think that permeates through all of us, even us millennials and Gen Zers who consider ourselves more progressive than like traditional people. Like we still see that as the goal in a lot of situations. Like we still see that if you don't have that, then what do you really have? I think it's like a, you know, it's like that hegemonic, you know, nuclear family shit that you always are fed, that you know, if you don't have that wife and kid and picket fence and straight up monogamous relationship, if you ain't got that, then you fucking up. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me, but I would love to hear Kahn's answer.
Oh shit! According to society, I'm half gay. I'm already valued, like, so you tear all that shit down, right? And yeah, I completely agree. It's a definitely an economic capitalistic thing. Nuclear family is already a concept designed by white supremacy to further populate the white race and the benefit capitalism. Like a lot of people don't understand that. That's why I always my eye twitches when I hear or see black men talking about some, feminism and this woke community is what's destroying the black community. We need to go back to nuclear families. I'm like, you want to go back to white supremacy? Okay, cool. That's the same thing the Republicans want to do. Go ahead and join them. Appreciate that.
Right.
And for people who are non-monogamous, we talk about this a lot. Because legally we can't marry all our partners. We get thrown in jail in a heartbeat, especially being black. So what we had to do is find ways around it. Like we'd have to do, the whole LLC thing, and have all of our partners own that. That way, when there's issues that arrive, things can be handled by any one of us. We'd have to do that's a method. People like folks who are all going on an LLC, make themselves basically a corporation or a company, and each one gets much of the same legal protections as a marriage. Of course, there's still some things that are not. Like if you go to your job, you still can't. Your business partner can't get you bereavement leave if something happens to them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's also the fight to push for that. However, that takes a while. Like just like all struggles, it takes a while because you got to build community, you got to get consensus, and somebody has to be willing to be the sacrificial lamb and sue and be prepared for all the crap that comes down while you're suing the government for that. So what a lot of people do is they do, specific documents for specific things. They'll have like a living will for a specific person. They'll have their life insurance policies where have everybody they want on there listed as a beneficiary. They'll do all the individual documents that marriage provides in one swoop. That way, everybody's covered. And that just goes along with, family planning. If you're with partners that you've been with and you're going to be with for the rest of your life, which is the goal for us, is to find people that we want to be with for the rest of our life too. Because it's another misconception about people who are non-monogamous, relationship anarchists, is that we're here for a good time, not a long time. I'm like, no, I'm still trying to find fully fleshed out romantic relationships that I can live for the rest of my life. But I'm also trying to, not throw my friends out at the same time. You know what I mean? I want them to stay and be there the entire way and have an equal say in not our relationship, but an equal say in or be on an equal playing field. So for example, like if my friend is sick and my partner's in a fender bender, I'm hoping to be understood that, hey, look, I'm gonna go check on my friend. They're sick. They're in the hospital. I need to go check on them. You're in the fender bender. You good? You're not injured? All right, cool. I'm gone. In many relationships, you go see that friend. That's the end of your relationship. Even though it was just a fender bender. Yeah. Even though everybody's fine, it's just some shit that insurance needs to handle. They're like, nah, you went and saw your friend over. You putting your friends before me, and it's like, no, like they're literally sitting in the house with COVID, and they need some food delivered to them. Like, so. And the reason why that is because society, media, and capitalism, but media mainly pushes that. Like media a lot of times has all these tropes of finding the one, doing anything to find the one. Like, who's that? Tyler Perry's notorious for this, right? Like, these folks sacrifice damn near everything to find the one. They sacrifice whole marriages, health in that one instance where, Shorty got, trigger warning HIV for cheating or whatever. Like, it's like, dude, like, it shouldn't be this hard to find a person.
Yeah.
It really should not, but we make it this way because society tells us that we're supposed to.
So, outside looking in, not knowing non-monogamy, not knowing relationship anarchy, if the goal is to find, a person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, how do you go about that when you treat all relationships the same? Or maybe I'm not understanding the full concept of relationship anarchy.
No, that's a very good question. So what people think is people come from, I'm not saying you, but most people think from a place of being taken from lack. That's why, we all Black, so we know this. When we try to fight for rights, racist white people think there's something that's being taken away from them. No, there's enough rights for everybody, but rights is literally just a word. Like if you get rights, you get rights. There's still more rights out there, right? So it's the same kind of concept of relationship anarchy. If I'm treating everybody at the same level, I'm treating everybody at the highest level. I'm not splitting up my energy or my effort 50. Now, will there needs to be some logistics, put in place? Of course. I'm dealing with multiple people at the same time, but everybody gets that super high priority. And the only time that I need to put one person over the other is in very emergency specific situations like the one I described earlier. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just where communication comes in, because eventually I'm going to check on everybody, right? I'm going to call in on everybody. I'm going to spend time with everybody, and everybody's going to get all of my attention at the entire time. That quality, my best friend, we laugh and joke and playing video games, talking cash shit. You know what I'm saying? Damn near almost came to blows over the space table. It is what it is. But at the same time, the next day I'm with the boo, and we are fully involved. My phone is off. It's face up, so you can see that ain't nothing going through. And even if something's going through, I got other people that might message me, but I'm not even looking at it type thing. You know what I mean? It's so much the same way you can love your mama to the point where you would jump in front of a bullet for her, but you could also do the same thing for your spouse. Relationship anarchists are like, look, I can do that for everybody I rock with. If you get to that level, you know what I'm saying? Of course, there's still people that you meet and you're like, let's build a rapport first. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I just met this stranger. They're super cool. They're at the same level as my mom. Hell no, right? There has to be some sort of time put in. So in theory, it's supposed to be everybody is on the same playing field, right? And it sound good, but like with me personally, my specific brand of relationship anarchy, yeah, you still got to put a little bit of time in, but you ain't got to like. Like I said, I'm not gonna throw out my 20-year relationship with my best friend over a 2-year relationship with my shorty. You know what I'm saying? But if I got a 2-year relationship with my shorty, I'm also not going to like be like, hey, look, this is best friend take priority either. I'm just gonna be like, look, we're gonna have to find some way where everybody is happy, some sort of compromise, because the only time this should be conflicts is in very specific situations. Like if I'm not neglecting you for another person, then it really shouldn't be an issue. If I'm not always with the boys and never want to spend time with you, then there shouldn't be an issue. It's like and I can't even describe those type of situations because that's just stuff that you have to go through with life, things that are personal to each person because everybody has different lives. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has different jobs, careers. I'm also going to be like I said, I'm a spoken word artist and a photographer. So I'm also going to be my own employer. I'm going to be putting a lot of energy and time into my businesses. So like, it's really just knowing how many folks I can juggle. So for a lot of people, they may only need, one partner, their best friend, and of course their family.
Yeah.
For others, they may have more energy, love to give, and they might be able to have 2 or 3 partners, their best friends, and still be able to hold the family down and take care of their business. It's what you can handle personally, and you gotta know your limits. And relationship anarchy plus ethical non-monogamy in general helps you know those limits.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, everybody gets 100. Oh my bad, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it. I was just gonna, I forgot I was rambling, so I wanted to tie it back to the original question. But yeah, everybody gets 100, not, everybody gets 50-50 or 25-25-25-25 type.
No, you weren't rambling at all. Like you already answered one of my questions because I was about to ask, like, what is this compulsive, like, because especially like heterosexual internet be making all these like hypothetical situations of like if
yeah.
if your best friend calls you at 10:30 at night, you laid in bed with your boo, are you gonna answer the phone? Or like
Yeah.
you just said, like you just said, if your homegirl has a flat tire, you gonna go help her without your you gonna call your wife first to ask permission to go help her? Like all these shits that make love seem so scarce, yo. Like me and Will talked about like how the scarcity mindset just is used to manipulate people so much. And like well, manipulation is it's a hard thing to shape because you don't know you're being manipulated. But at some point you just gotta realize, like, what am I doing, yo? Like, why am I making these situations out to be something that is clearly not, or it likely isn't. Because like you said, like if I have a friend who's already been my friend, sorry, my camera's acting crazy. If I have a friend that's already been my friend for 10, 20 years, why would you all of a sudden assume that I'm going to cheat on you with this person? Like when we've done nothing before, or even if we did something before, it's clearly over with. Like that's clearly the past. So like, why would we make this? Why would we make something out of nothing? Is what it seems like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
That's, it is. A lot of times, so to break it down just a little bit further. So when I say I'm not monogamous and relationship anarchist, that's a very purposeful distinction, right? Because not all relationship anarchists are non-monogamous. Non-monogamy can be a part of it because it's supposed to be hey, everybody says everybody that's in my life says what they can do for me. And not in no, real formal way. Like we going down a checklist when we first meet. Like, oh, so can we commingle? No, no. You kind of like just talk it out over the course of hanging out type deal. So in non-monogamy, your specific goal is to date multiple people because you have the capacity for that. In relationship anarchy, you're just saying, hey, look, nobody really has super high priority over anybody else, which means I can definitely still be fully monogamous. So if somebody's like, oh, well, I don't think that's for me because I can't be non-monogamous, that's fine. You can still be monogamous and be a relationship anarchist. It just means that because relationship anarchy is not no boundaries. A lot of people have that tendency to take, specific terms and want to break it down to their root forms and think that's the meaning. Like when they say, oh, I'm not scared of queer people, that's not what heterophobia means, my guy. Anyway, it's being able to say we're breaking down what the societal expectations of relationships are. That's the anarchy part of it. The relationship part of it is still very much there, right? What I can handle, what my values and goals are, and how I want to execute them with this person. So if I know that I am like, nah, I can't be sleeping with more than one person. Okay, then that's your you still have your boundary. Your boundaries for you. And then you tell people, hey, look, this is what I can't deal with. And if you do that, then I gotta exit the situation. And you leave it at that. And so folks are either gonna respect the boundary or they're gonna disrespect it. And you handle yourself accordingly from there.
I got you. Yeah, because I mean, the term relationship anarchy seems it's probably worse than, it's just a negative connotation associated with, and it essentially just sounds like it seems like you're setting your own view of what a relationship looks like to you, if I'm understanding it fully.
Yeah, I mean that's what I got from it from the jump, and this is what I also want to like try to push for, and maybe like even probably put a book out on, because there's one thing that I've noticed about any kind of smaller niche, whether it be hobbies, belief systems, is that when you get into these spaces, there's still never a lot of us. We're still always a minority. Like Mike was saying in the beginning, I'm the only relationship anarchist he knows. Hell, I'm the only relationship anarchist I knew. You know what I'm saying? So like, I would like, more people to be introduced to this way of life. I'm not gonna be sitting there trying to like, knock on people's doors like Jehovah's Witnesses, but like, if I just want to live out loud and let people be like, hey, I like that, what you're doing. What is that? You know what I'm saying? I want people to be able to see there's a noticeable difference between how I carry myself in my relationships than somebody else. And when I explain what I'm doing and what this concept is to them, they can sit there and be like, okay, cool, let me look into that. And if they want to rock with that, they can rock with that. And I would love for more of us to be in it, because I feel like Black people have really been tied to all these systems that we were given, forced in a lot of cases, by white folks. And we don't question anything because we think that's just how things are. And it's wild to me how we think that. Like this is a completely off topic example, but it's a good example of what I'm talking about, is how we stick to, things that we've been forced upon us. I was watching a video on TikTok earlier where a very young girl, she looked like she was like maybe like 16, but far beyond her years of mental. She was like, she asked her mom, what do you think of our ancestors before whites introduced slavery? And she was like, and she said her mom had basically made some disparaging remarks, like, you know what, well, that's them. I'm glad that, you know, I was introduced to Jesus. And it's like, so you would literally throw away everything that we were before whites came in for this fictional Caesar Borgia type
Oh
deal.
Lord.
Like, that makes no sense to me. You're clinging on to this because it's comfortable. And I feel like if we introduce the more concepts we introduce to the Black community and makes people uncomfortable, is how we grow. Black folks know that if we want to grow, we got to be uncomfortable. We know that when it comes to like getting money and business, but for some reason we won't critically think and take that and apply it to everything else in our life. How you expect to grow as a person in general if you don't make yourself uncomfortable and listen to things that you may not necessarily believe in at first, or be around people that you were told were bad, but like you see them for the human they are. A lot of folks who are like, as far as the queer team, a lot of folks are like, a lot of allies are like, I was homophobic until my brother or my sister or my kid.
Mhm.
You shouldn't have to take somebody that close to you to realize that, you know, folks should be treated like human beings. You should be like, hey, look, well, what makes y'all so bad? Why does everybody hate y'all? You know what I mean? And then go have a conversation with somebody. Because as far as I'm concerned, as long as somebody ain't running around here like with a Klan hood on or the swastika, then they really ain't out here trying to, you know, do no harm to you.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, have discernment, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's out there for you, but like at the same time, you can still be introduced into somebody's way of life, reject it, but still be able to either pull gems from it or be able to at least respect them as a person in public. At the very least.
Yeah.
You hitting on so many points, yo. I was having to write stuff down because I've been talking about how people have such limited views of liberation. Like, we can talk about getting money and being the first billionaire in our family and building generational wealth all day, but you start getting to start getting the gay shit, start getting towards, you know, I know Will is not about the abolition, but even if you're not believing in abolition, like when you start going to talk about like drastic reform, even like completely overturning institutions and from the inside out, people's imaginations get real limited very, very quickly. And it's so weird because our imaginations have always saved us. Like, there was a point in time where Black folk did not envision themselves outside of slavery. And look where we at. I mean, slavery is still a thing, technically. But like, look where Black people are now. Like, it's so weird how people just like get to a stopping point in their heads. Like, all right, that's enough. We can't be, we can be free, but we can't be non-monogamous. So we can't associate with queer people that intimately. Like, it's so strange to me.
But it's because the system has tied our lack of imagination to being safe.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something we got to break. Well, while I'm not for abolition.
See, he gonna backtrack the whole thing.
While I'm not for abolition, this country is fucked up towards Black folk. But we just gotta make it work.
Listen to this shit, man. This man country ain't shit for Black people, but you know, I don't want to do too much.
You know, you gotta make it work, you know.
Get out my face.
Yeah. I low-key feel him. I wouldn't call myself an abolitionist, but I don't dismiss the theory of my dang self. That's a completely different topic. But I get where both of y'all are coming from. I kind of, in a lot of ways, I agree with both. Like, it depends on how it's implemented for me personally. Like, some ways I've heard about it being implemented, cool. Other ways I'm like, no.
All right. Let me tell you where me and Mike disagree, okay? And then we're gonna move on from this. Mike wants to start a new government, a new system based off of love, right? And Mike's definition of love, what was it, Mike? Like, more so community, looking out for one another, right?
It's leading with the basically with the spiritual growth of people, yourself and others, you know, as the leading guide for that, you know, revolution. And to be clear, it's not like I'm talking about destroying shit overnight, because we'll always point this shit like I'm trying to blow up the state house at night and fucking start what I'm talking about. I'm saying it's an ongoing process. Shut up. My
belief is that it won't work because people are inherently selfish.
No, okay.
Okay.
Let me finish. Let me
Go
finish my
ahead.
statement. Shut up.
Go ahead. Save them all. Go ahead.
It is an ongoing process. Liberation is not a destination. It is a journey. It is not happening overnight. It is an ongoing process that's already happening. Is what Will keeps losing out on. It's already happening.
Yes, reform is happening.
Shut your face.
All right. Continue, Mike, with the outlaw.
So yeah. So that's we're gonna come back to the abolition shit at another episode. But one thing you did, and this is the last thing we got. Talk about Khan, which is people's fear stopping them. I think that fear, there's a thin line between fear and prejudice. And one thing I hear all the time with this whole dating thing, not only are people afraid of the whole non-monogamy thing, but people say they're looking for their type, but when their type has a certain quality that I think that prejudice is residing in, they say they don't prefer that person. It's not in their preferences. And that thin line between preference and prejudice be shaky. And one thing I especially want to touch on, which I don't think gets talked about nearly enough, is biphobia in women, and particularly Black women. Y'all know I love Black women. I love Black women across the world out here now. But one thing I keep seeing, Black women are completely fine with having gay homeboys. 100% fine having gay homeboys.
They love them.
Oh, they love them to death. But when it comes to the dude that they're sexually attracted to, anytime that dude steps like a centimeter outside of traditional masculinity, like a smidge outside of traditional masculinity, oh shit, nigga, I don't know. And it becomes like, oh, I don't prefer a bisexual man. I don't prefer men who are sexually attracted to men. And it's like, if that's the only thing stopping you, sounds like biphobia. But I would like to know, Khan's experience with that. If you have experienced that at all, if I'm talking nonsense, please correct me. But I just wanted to talk about this.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head, and it's see, okay, I'll start off by saying this. The most frustrating thing about coming out as bi and then non-monogamous within like a year span was thinking that this was going to open up the dating pool and make it an ocean, and no, it turned into a fucking bucket, a dirty one at that.
No.
I was like, yo, what the hell happened? Like all the ones that was low key checking for me on all the dating apps, like I was seeing unmatching everywhere. I was.
Are you serious?
I was about to say April Fools.
It's like just kidding.
And so I don't want to. I want to be real, but then I don't want people to feel attacked. And that's the problem with these conversations, is that folks always feel attacked, right? So when Black women say, I don't want to date a bisexual man, that's fine. They can do that. My issue with the I don't want to date a bisexual man thing is that the reasons why and how it's said. Because this is what happens a lot of times. And I'm not saying this is all the time, because I know there's some folks, especially in my community, who will spark the conversation just to start some shit and get their views up on TikTok or whatever. But a lot of the times the conversation comes out of left field. Like I'm scrolling on my timeline, and next thing you know, Jess Hilarious has a freaking video up about why they won't date bisexual men. And I'm like, well, who said we would date y'all? Why is this on my timeline? Why is this popping up out of nowhere? Why are we the butt of your jokes right now? Like, I am fully aware at this point, even in my, quote unquote baby gay, baby queer stage, that a lot of straight Black women ain't gonna rock with it. So I moved accordingly, and I just was like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and look for either other bi women, or I'll let any straight women who are open to it meet. And then I'm not meaning like holla at me, but at least like, I'll be in spaces where they're more likely to be at. So I'm in those kind of spaces digitally and thankfully because of Atlanta physically, where if you're in that location, it's pretty much safe to say that you would probably date a queer dude. You know what I mean? And I can then, do my whole masculine shoot my shot thing, buy you a drink, whatever, all that jazz. But they build these stereotypes around bisexual men that are innately harmful, and then pull and also leak over into other areas of their life. And that's the thing that's what people are trying to get folks to understand when these conversations come up time and time again. It's not the fact that you won't date bisexual men, because you have full autonomy of your body and over your will. You can do whatever the hell you want until the Supreme Court says you can't for no damn apparent reason. But at the same time, know why you're doing it. That way you don't accidentally leak that, because it is a bigotry, but I'm not gonna say there's acceptable forms of bigotry, but there's some bigotry is like, you know what, it's not that serious in the grander scheme of things. So this is a form of bigotry that you can at least limit and not leak on the other folks. And my key go-to example is this. Women say bisexual men are feminine. We're not all feminine. They say that they are insecure because they can't give us what a man can give us. I'm not looking for what a man can give me. I'm looking for what you can give me as a woman. And if I wanted what a man can give me, I wouldn't be talking to you. I could be go hollering at a man. And then they talk about, well, what if I get cheated on? Well, man, you get cheated on every day by your boyfriend, and you keep going back to him. And a lot of times, the same dudes that they be talking about are so masculine, be the same ones that be on on Grindr. But we ain't gonna talk about that right now. If you have all these misconceptions about bisexual people, and you hold these and you just let them spill out no matter what, how does that affect the people around you? A lot of these women want the whole nuclear family, right? They want the husband, they want the picket fence, they want the kids. Okay, so you have a son, he grows up, he seems very masculine to you, he's great at school, he does all the things, he's just a great kid overall. And then when it comes time to him to become a teenager and he's learning and discovering himself, he discovers he's bisexual. He wants to tell his parents, because hopefully by then we're in a time where that's just like just something to say and not a whole big coming out thing. And then he overhears you as a Black woman completely just blasting bisexual men on the phone with your homegirl, because she, got mad about a date where the dude she was talking to basically told her he was son overhears all this, and now he ain't telling you shit. And not only that, now he's got to go someplace else to get guidance and information on how to navigate these feelings he now has, which means he might go to the wrong person, because we know there are folks out there who are predators. A lot of them are grown as hell going for young people. And that's no matter what sexuality you are. You know what I'm saying? Because I know back when I was coming up in school, I would see grown ass men coming to pick up damn little girls. And at the time I was, naive as hell and be like, damn, why they always want these older dudes? Now I'm as an adult and I'm like, yo, if I see that, I'm dragging homie out the fucking car. Right. But this is how we drive people away without driving them away. You know what I'm saying? Or you might be with your mans and you talking cash shit about bisexual men, but he might be like me and have been going through what's known as compulsory heterosexuality, which is a concept basically saying that society has basically made it where you felt like it was mandatory to be heterosexual to the point that you shut down everything else. And then he discovers he's bi and wants to tell you, but now he can't, because he feels like if he tells you, then you're gonna think that he lied the entire time and that he was gay the entire time and that he was just, doing the bending or getting bent the entire time, when he just learned this in his damn self. There's some of us that do come out very late. I've had people that thanked me on video saying, thank you for telling your story. I'm now out at 45. I'm now out at 50. I'm like, yo, I'm glad you out. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, damn, that means you've missed out on like 50 years of being your true self. I've missed out on like 34, and I feel like I'm behind the power curve. And that's not to say you can't do it what you want at whatever age you want, but I mean, it's also something to say that you can't be yourself for that long. It should be a crime, to be honest, punishable by all of society, implementing this crap on us. Like everybody should just have to, like, I don't know, lose like a couple bucks, because it's like you help contribute to this man not being able to be himself type deal.
Yeah.
So overall, yeah, that's immediate shutdown. I've not been on many dates since I've been out, because of me being, one, coming out during the pandemic, which means there was no place to freaking go, and two, also, trying to survive capitalism. But the few times that I have gone out, have definitely reality checked me to the point where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I might need to like totally re-evaluate or start from the ground up how I start dating now. Like, because I was literally just dating as if I was like back when I was straight, because I felt like, because to me, nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is now that I'm telling you that I'm also attracted, that I also can be attracted to men. Now, that's not to sit there and say I've been with a man. And that's another thing that folks don't understand. Just because you're attracted to somebody doesn't mean you want to do it. I can sit there and say I'm attracted to men, but at the same time, I can't stand niggas. So it's gonna take a really like one of a kind dude for me to be like, hey, let me go holler at him. Because as of right now, I'm still like women only right now, and I'm not saying women only as far as my sexuality. It's just like that's my preference. I can be attracted to men or women, but right now I prefer women. That's what the true preference is. I'm not excluding men, but they just ain't on my radar at all. But I was approaching dating as if I was like, a straight dude, and then in the spirit of honesty would tell, shorties on the first date, hey, yeah, so blah, 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 So funny enough, I just discovered I was bisexual as of recently. And like the when I tell you, you can literally, I was never one of these very spiritual people. And so I didn't really believe, I believed in energies and stuff, but I wasn't like, hardcore, like, yeah, crystals or nothing like that. But like, when I tell you, you can literally feel the energy shift. And I'm not talking about in a good way. Like it like air would get heavy. Facial expressions would just become like blank. And it's just like, let's get this checked. Cause yeah, I'm pretty much can argue. You ain't even gotta say it. I pretty much know this day is over with.
That's
like,
so wild.
I've had people that I was actively talking to at the time. And then when I did my first TikTok video on being bi, went back to those conversations to find out I was blocked. Like,
fucking crazy.
The only thing I haven't had happen is an ex hit me up, which I'm glad. I think my exes know better, and plus they know that. Plus, I like I said, as I was under compet, I was straight until I wasn't. Literally, I was straight until I was like, you know what? I'm not straight no anymore. So, in the spirit of anybody who may be listening to this, especially given that you're based out of South Carolina, and I've had many good time in South Carolina. If you was with me before, yeah, I wasn't messing with dudes. Don't worry, you're safe. You can still go get tested if you want to, but you're safe. Anyway, yeah, only get blocked. The only thing I haven't had is an ex hit me up. Like, nah, I was just really just navigating life until I started being more critical of how things were and how I was moving and what I believed. And then, I wasn't around toxic masculinity all the time, and just was like, it's wild because when I was very, very young and didn't know better, I was exploring. I was doing all the things. And then I got caught one day with my best friend at the time. And when I tell you he got the gay beat out of us, probably literally got the gay beat out of us. I don't know how his life turned out, because we basically kind of separated from then and I moved down south. But like, it was like literally a repressed memory for the longest time. And then it just came back up and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not straight. Oh well. Like, so to tie it back all the way to the beginning, it's a very culture shock type thing to realize how hard body or how deep folks are holding on to their beliefs. Because like literally, I've seen, and this is what gets me right. And this is where I'll end this point at. A lot of times, the hesitations that women have about dating a bisexual man is because of the queer men they see. There's queer men out. There's plenty more out there that are living completely normal, heteronormative lives. They're masculine as hell. They're chopping wood. They're building houses. They're bringing tables. All the things they want. All the things they are begging these straight men to do, and they don't see them. They don't think that man is, and they don't think that man is bi, but that man is very much bi.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they say, "Well, I don't want to date a bi man because he's feminine," that's the bi man you've seen. There's a bi man that's masculine that you wouldn't know because you assume anybody that you see is straight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave it at that.
Man, such an excellent point. This is why I had you on the show, Khan. This is what I'm talking about. And first of all, I want to say I apologize. I'm so sorry that that happened to you as a child. That's absolutely wild. But like you said, like sexuality is such a spectrum. Like people would just have, and it's so wild. It's still happening in 2022 that people think, oh, queer or bi man, boom, that's what it is. Super feminine, super one way, super always gonna be wanting to be with men in the back of their minds. Not gonna give me, not gonna be able to love me properly as a woman. Shit is fucking wild. But I'll say real fast, one thing you mentioned about people coming to you saying that you helped them come out at like 45 years old or 50 years old. And I was just telling Will this at the little cookout thing we just had this past weekend. I'm realizing that there's like 0 to no male-centered sensuality spaces out here. If there are more, please put me on. But I only know of a couple, and those are people like I know personally. But in general, there's men don't have somewhere to go to talk about sensuality, and so like that's where you get a lot of that repressed sexuality. That's where you get like fuck the pussy till it bleeds mentality. Like no courses on being multi-orgasmic. That's my shit right now. You know what I'm saying? No things on being multi-orgasmic or how to channel energy, how to just literally just treat other men or women that you want to be sexually intimate with, how to be sexually intimate with yourself first and foremost. Like there's no spaces like that out here, yo. So many things, but just shout out to you because I've been in your Clubhouse rooms for a minute. Shout out to you for definitely helping those spaces on Clubhouse. Like I rarely be on I'll be on Clubhouse here and there, but this shit is so toxic nowadays. Like it's a piece of shit. But like
yeah, it's a cesspool now.
it's fucking gross. But if I see you on, if I see Kimmy on, like I definitely hop in y'all's rooms because y'all definitely be having some great rooms, and I love the spaces that you open to people with what y'all's conversations about. So shout out to you for that. I want to say thank you so much for having us on the show. I know we're running out of an hour. I don't know, Will, you had anything to add or anything?
No, I'm good. This was it was very dope. I really like hearing about people's journeys and how they got to these places that we haven't heard of, or honestly these places that we have heard of people, or these stories we have heard before, but you see them on like movies or somebody that's like you're disconnected from.
Yeah.
When you're up close and personal with somebody, when you're hearing their story, really come out, it really gives you insight on, the things they're going through or whatever. So
what you're saying is you're about to start practicing relationship anarchy.
I mean, I just sent the text.
Hey, it's popping. Who the first person used the text? I ain't gonna say her name on the podcast, but just shoot it out there, see what happens.
No,
no, that's fine. But yeah, man, Khan, do you have anything you want to shout out that you got coming up or anything?
Well, first, thanks you for having me on the show. This has been a very dope experience, a great conversation. I really appreciate you sending me out the invite for this. Second, I don't have any kind of upcoming events or anything to promote, but like I said, I am a photographer. My business is Iconic Photos. That's IKAHNIC Photos on Instagram. You can follow me there. I got a link tree that goes to all the other things that I do. And for any questions or comments, concerns, thank yous, hell, I'll even take some hate mail at this point so I can practice these insults. Send all that to that. Other than that, man, yeah, thanks, appreciate it, man.
I was gonna say you already be popping. I've known you to pop off on people already as it is, and I know we used to have maybe this would be another episode down the road. We used to have our annual debates on if the friendship exists, the friend zone exists or not. And I mean, you would go back and forth on that a lot.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing good work though, regardless. Like I think anybody who comes for you is in trouble. I've seen it firsthand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to be like Samuel Jackson. He's in his 80s now because he chose violence daily. That sounds good to me.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't thank you enough, man. We really do appreciate you taking the time out, popping the show. So much good insight. I hope everybody listen. I hope everybody just reevaluates how you look at relationships. I hope especially women, reevaluate everything you just said and just think about how you be approaching your relationships with men. Like it's such a good conversation, yo. I really would love to have you back on to talk more about that. But I don't want to take any more of your time. But yeah, thank you so much. We're gonna get into the thirst of the week.
Good.
Kind of, I don't know if you know this, but we always shout out a Black woman out here doing her damn thing in the biggest way possible. And this is a personal one for me, man. Then my homegirl Milla just had put out her new album. I was so mad because this fucking weekend, my alternator went out in my car on the way to her album release party. I was on the side of the road all day. It wasn't all bad. But I missed her album release party. She just put out an album called Still Been Milla. If you don't know Milla, man, super dope rapper, singer, songwriter, based right here in Columbia, South Carolina, who believes in expressing personal experiences through storytelling in her music. She delivers a mixture of nostalgia and rawness that keeps listeners engaged. Milla has been featured all across Columbia and South Carolina in general, including Cree Speaks Media's We Can All Eat Showcase, Black Nerd Mafia's 5 Deadly Venoms, and of course my show, Blue Note Poetry, which KahnScience has been featured in as well, who killed it as he does. And Milla's just dope, man. If you're looking for just a soulful rapper, if you're tired of Drake's new house, quote unquote, music or whatever the fuck he's doing out here these days, definitely check out her album. You can check out her website at www.benmilla.com, IG and Twitter at benmilla. She's just super dope, yo. So check her
Milla
out.
been dope. I love her music.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm about to make a road trip anyway after this. I'm going to go ahead and crank that album up.
Please do. It's fire, yo. Everything she touches is fire, but this shit is no different. Will doesn't appreciate real rap. He out here listening to Drake's music, you know what I mean?
I'm definitely not listening to that new Drake album.
Popping Molly and shit with white woman.
No.
Yeah.
So real quick. Okay, so you're not rocking with the new Drake. I ain't either. But what about that new Kendrick though?
You know what?
Heavy-handed for me.
Yeah, I think me and Will felt about the same. We usually disagree on music, but it was a good album. But
yeah,
I told Will that I feel like I'm past the point of Will blowing me out the water, and he agreed with that.
Like the subject matter was cool, but like without all like the super lyricism and there wasn't even like a radio vibe to this. Like there wasn't. It was just kind of.
What's it called? N97 is like a radio.
Yeah, that one, yeah. But like the album lacked flair to me. It lacked something.
Best spoken word album of all time.
What?
The best spoken word album of all time. Now,
you praising Kodak Black out here?
No, I'm just saying, like overall, if Kendrick would have released this and said this is a spoken word project, I'd give it high praises, and the only demerits it would be having Kodak on it.
Actually, I don't like that. I don't disagree with that. Yeah, best spoken word album. I can see that. I can see it. I can actually do it. Now that I think about it, after you really said it, I was like taken aback. But now that I think about it, I could definitely see two poets performing. What is it? The whole argument shit. I could definitely see two poets performing that shit.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the argument thing, Khan? Did you like it? Because Mike was like, this has been done enough.
I was gonna say to me it was like a little bit of a throwback to Biggie's intro on Ready to Die.
Oh yeah.
But like outside of that, it was just like it's been done. Honestly,
that's what I'm saying. If you listen to like hip hop for real, like it's several rappers who have done that. I feel like even better than he did it. I think it was good. It was a good track. I think it was dope. But like so many rappers have done that before. It was kind of like I could tell people are not used to that, and that's why it blew their minds. But for somebody like me, it was cool. Oh, that was nice. So, yeah, man. I think Kendrick has hit his pinnacle, and he's deserved to hit his pinnacle by now. I don't see how you ever top To Pimp a Butterfly. That shit is just. I don't even know how you come close.
Too brilliant.
I really don't. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, man. Thank y'all. Thank you, Khan, again. Appreciate y'all rocking with us. I'm sorry for the hiatus. We're gonna be more consistent. Hopefully, as long as the topics keep rolling in, we're gonna try to be more consistent.
Right.
And yeah, man, we love y'all. We'll see you next time.
There it is.
Yeah.